Welcome back, Phil.
It's good to be back.
Thank you so much for being here. You know, you gave us a little bit of context of Premium Tours and your role there, but can you just remind us 5 seconds about what Premium Tours offers American travelers?
Absolutely. We do one-day sightseeing tours. So you're on an air-conditioned motor coach, always never more than 3 years old, and we have a guide on board. And we offer to your clients and American customers in general opportunities to go to some of the most famous places in the UK. And I think the key is that the guide. The guide is what makes a tour. And that's why guided tours are so popular. If you go to famous places around the world, you're looking at it and go, that's nice. Yeah, that's very nice. But you don't know anything about it. You don't know the history of it, how it's created, who built it, what the stories are behind it. And so that's what we bring to life, is for them to understand a little bit more about our history and our culture.
Well, I always say that, you know, for a travel advisor, when they're really looking at building their business and really matching experiences to their customers, the guides make such a huge difference. And just making sure that you're working with people that have those experienced, engaging guides is so important, because many years after you visit a place, sometimes it's that guide that you remember. You can't remember which hotel you stayed at or what country you're in.
Yes.
But you remember, wow, we had that amazing guide that took us around and we felt like a very close friend.
Yes, exactly. You're just living the moment. It's being explained to you.
Yeah.
Like you say, no one goes on an aeroplane just for the experience of an aeroplane. It's because you just want to get there and get out there and have things explained to you as much as possible.
So at Premium Tours, what's your approach when it comes to taking these historic places, but maybe explaining it in a way that really hits with a modern vibe?
That's a good question. Modern vibes with, let's say, Stonehenge, 3,000 years old, that's a challenge. But I would say 30, 40 years ago, it was more factual. It's 2,500 BC and blah. But now we know a lot more because of archaeology, lasers, drones. So there's a lot more coming out into the ethos for people to get into. There's spiritual side of things. Some people claim there's an energy coming through the stones. I was actually didn't have any hair a few years ago, and then I went there, and suddenly a whole lot of the hair came back. So
miracle spot.
It was a miracle spot. So yeah, it's interesting. And of course, Windsor Castle, which is one of the most popular places on our tours, the Queen is now buried there. So that's changed the interest that from what went before 5 years ago, 10 years ago. And all of a sudden now Windsor Castle, a resurgence of interest because people want to go and pay their respects to the late Queen.
What do you think really differentiates Premium Tours from other sightseeing companies out there?
That's a good question. Firstly, when we started out, as I alluded to in our 5-minute slot, was looking for exclusive opportunities which no one else can offer. So that's the first thing. So amongst those, where we were the original company to go behind the scenes at Stonehenge, we still have Highclere Castle. Only one other company has small groups there, which is one of our colleagues here today. American consumers, when they do tours around the world, I think in their minds, they assume it's going to be in English only. They're thinking, I'm going to have a guy who's going to speak to me in English. Happy days. So, unfortunately, that isn't the case with a lot of our competitors in London. They like to do bilingual tours with Spanish, Japanese, Mandarin, where we made a decision 15 years ago. Where's our focus? Well, North America. 95% of our clients are from North America. So we made the decision to drop bilingual tours and only have it in English only. So that is a key focus for us. We're also quite unique in that we own our own coaches. Mm-hmm. So the drivers are Premium Tours drivers. They wear Premium Tours uniforms. So because it's only a day, a lot of companies, they'll hire in coaches. So the driver won't necessarily know who the guide is until the morning. Ours are friends. Sometimes they've even got married. So the key for us is to keep it fun. We're not a corporation. We're a family-run operation. Most of the management have been there since the start. And the key is always to make it light, informative and fun for people. We also, our tours tend to last between an hour and 2 hours longer than our competitors. Again, that's because our drivers are ours. We can manage their hours around a week to have that extra time. Then that allows us to get off the beaten track sometimes. And nothing to do with me, but we love pubs. We love our pubs at Premium Tours. We include those on quite a few of our tours. And for you, again, for your average American, to go to a pub which is 700 years old is a wow moment. It really is.
Yeah, I was reading about one of your tours to Windsor, Stonehenge, Lacock, and Bath.
Yes.
And you visit a 14th century pub.
Correct. The Georgian in Lacock. And this is a classic where people are booking the tour probably most of the time for the Windsor, Stonehenge and Bath aspect. Like the sound of the pub, never heard of Lacock. But in the reviews, Lacock tends to come up as the one that everyone talks about, that it was a real magical moment. Going to the pub, fish and chips, but there are vegetarian options and gluten-free options. But to walk inside a pub, and you're always met by the proprietor, the owner. All our groups are met by the owner. He gives them a bit of history about what's gone on in that pub. We've already ordered ahead what people want, so they don't have to order and then wait for their food. And it's in a village where quite a few Harry Potter movies were filmed there, the Abbey there. And it's owned by the National Trust. No one in that village can change anything about their buildings unless they get prior permission. So it really is, you're stepping back in time. Wow. So it's a very special place.
Can you share more about the unique experiences that Premium Tours offers, including new for 2023 guided tours of Westminster Abbey?
Yes. So we've just launched it, the Westminster Abbey. Again, that's got a lot of heightened interest because King Charles, was married there just a few months ago. So people are fascinated to actually see the chair he sat on, where he was crowned, and that sort of thing. And what's so unique about this is, especially in the summer months, if you come and want to go inside Westminster Abbey, you're going to be queuing for between 1 hour and 3 hours just to get in. So for our groups, we meet them at a specific spot outside the Abbey. We take them to the restaurant. We give them pastries, coffee, tea, and then walk them straight into the Abbey with no queuing at all. And again, we were saying before about looking at things. If you've got the guide taking you around the Abbey, they're bringing it all to life. So, so you're understanding what you're looking at.
So with the myriad of offers that Premium Tours has,
yes,
what's your personal favorite?
My personal favourite? That's a very good question. I love the private tour Stonehenge because it's a really mystical thing to be there with only 24 other people over the Salisbury Plains, the winds blowing, and you've got these magical stones that have been there for 2,500 years. That always blows me away. And also our Lunch in the Cotswolds tour. The Cotswolds is one of the fastest growing tours we have. A lot of famous people have chosen to now go and live in the Cotswolds. The most famous for the British audience is David Beckham. He's moved in there. I think some American who decide to live in the UK, they've now chosen the Cotswolds. So we have a lovely tour where we just go to the villages and then we go to a pub for lunch. the Swan. And it's a very gentle tour, so you're not being rushed at all, and you're not necessarily being bombarded with too much historical information. You're just going to see these villages that you'll never be able to see over here,
Right.
because they're ancient. So that might be my favourite.
And lastly, could you give us a glimpse into the future plans of Premium Tours? Are there any upcoming experiences that we should keep an eye out for?
Well, that's a very good question. Aside from the Westminster tour, which is just recently launched, we're keeping an eye on another couple of things. We have to remain a little bit under wraps for now. But what I would definitely say, what has changed over 30 years I've been in the industry, is that, let's say, Shakespeare. Shakespeare is now not such a, we need to go and see where William Shakespeare lived. It's now more driven by the movies and TV shows. Like we talked about The Bachelorette in those 5 minutes, that, you know, people see that and think, oh, I want to go on that bus, because it's so unique, it's so different, and my God, they were on that bus. So definitely the way things are changing is that it's more media, movies, TV programs. So for my role is to always keep an eye on what's coming out and how it resonates with the American audience. So I look at PBS viewing and other stations over here to see how it's trending, and whether then that's the opportunity for us to jump in and offer them what they can't get to on their own. It does help when they're in the middle of nowhere, these places, of course, so they can't get there on their own.
Exactly. Well, when you do have the news, please come back and share it with our audience.
Certainly will. Certainly will.
Thanks, everyone.
Thank you.